Hello, my name is Tati Tchoubar, and I'm presenting here at the International Conference, The Future of Education, the research entitled Teaching Cybersecurity Masters, Student Coding Assessment and Engagement with Online Content. This is the results of the study, my study with my colleagues, Shiva Rajagopalan and Yi Lu at New York University, Tandon School of Engineering, New York, US. This study has been conducted under the supervision of the Institutional Research Board at New York University, to whom we are grateful. The cybersecurity workforce is experiencing rapid growth due to the scale of cyber attacks. NYU Tandon Online created an innovative Master's Cyber Fellows program for the working professionals willing to level up their skills in response to the job market demand. Teaching online, one of the foundational courses of the program, Information Systems Security Engineering and Management, necessitates catering to a heterogeneous student population, including recent bachelors in computer science, as well as many years graduates from other fields who changed their professional path as a part of lifelong learning. Course requires programming in Python, so getting all the students to acceptable proficiency in coding represents a challenge for the instructor, teaching assistants, and the instructional designer of the online course. Another imperative need is to scale up the coding assignment, assessment, and grading because of the high enrollment numbers. Using an experimental approach, which consists in active hands-on learning, we addressed this need. So talking about the previous research, myself in 2014, I demonstrated in a study that the importance of using engaging multimedia to foster student success in online classes. In the cybersecurity field, the field work of my colleague, Raja Ragopalan, showed that cybersecurity is still a practice-oriented area of study that is learned by an apprentice model rather than the traditional method used in computer science. Earlier publications, as in article number 3 on cybersecurity education, reported on situation awareness-oriented cybersecurity education. In the study 4, reported on peer learning activities in cybersecurity education that we were also using in this course. Article number 5 analyzed the cybersecurity master programs in the context of the discipline evolution, a wide range study. And also the study 6 has demonstrated the benefit to the digital teams of a research-based learning that we're using in this course. And topic apart that we investigated on is a backwards design and backwards learning. Many of you maybe heard about backwards design, which is an approach in instructional design that was coined by Wiggins and Tini in the 90s, and this book has been re-edited many times. So the backwards design approach consists in stating the learning objectives for the students first, and designing an assessment that will allow the students to attain the objectives, then the practice, designing the practice that will build the skills needed to successfully complete the assignments, and finally, constructing the lectures and content materials that will elucidate for the students how to proceed with practical exercises in order to create the needed skills outlined in the learning objectives, so going backwards. Recent research that I conducted together with my colleague at NYU has suggested the evidence that not only the instructors could use the backwards design, but the students are on their own proceeding backwards in their appropriation of the online weekly content. They look at the assignments first and then figure out what lectures and readings do they need to complete the assignments. So that has been demonstrated in this study number 8, together with Andrew Brackett at NYU. About the backwards learning by the students. Talking about the sample, here you can see the demographics and the numbers. So that characterize our sample. Then a research methodology. So our method consisted in an observational case study. So we didn't change the teaching methodology, but we just observed it in order to improve the course in the future. The goal was to make the students job ready on the market, and there were 2 research questions that we asked ourselves and tried to investigate on. Like the first was how the Python pre-test that we employed impacts group performance during the semester, and we assessed it qualitatively. And the second research question, do the students use a backwards learning approach to online content, where we tried to verify our earlier findings from an earlier publication, but this time we assessed it quantitatively. Using the quantitative data of reports and statistical calculations. So the procedure consisted in administering a Python pre-test to all the students before the start of the course, and based on the results of this pre-test, so we took the 15 highest scorers in this Python assessment and introduced one higher scorer who was called coder in each group for the group assignments. This group of 4 was required to do all 9 assignments and during the semester, and in particular the labs and the project. So the second question, research question, was addressed using the weekly quizzes with alternating hints. So individual quizzes that the students received every week had 4 questions. The last 2 questions, number 3 and 4, concerned the reading assignment. And so we randomly formed the 2 groups of students. The control group didn't get any hints, and the other group was getting the hint with the link to the reading assignment, while both groups had access to this reading assignment that was uploaded in the weekly course content. And the groups were formed randomly on weekly rotation, so that not to discriminate any student who will not have the hint. Data collection sources were like student course evaluations and the learning analytics reports that I already mentioned in our learning management system, where the online materials are uploaded. And what was the data that we analyzed? The grades, the time spent on activities, the number of hits on the online content by the students, and the frequency of the participation, of the engagement with the content. And how did we analyze this data? Look, we did the cleaning and visualization using the R programming language. So what were our results concerning the pretest in Python that was administered 1 month before the start of the course and consisted in 1 tasks in Python programming. So after the first attempt, only 66% of the students were successful in this test, as you can see. But in the test questions, students were getting as a hint, the link to the Python tutorial. So, and they were able to retake this Python pretest quiz. So as many times as they wanted. So the final overall success was 91%. So even the students who never were exposed to the programming, they were able to, succeed in this Python quiz that was concerning the basic programming skills needed for the course. We also asked the students what did they think about these new methodologies, and 88% of them were positive on the group assignments, on the fact that they had to work in groups, and more than 60% found that the Python pretest helped them with completing the labs, the coding labs, and all groups formed like this, having one coder, and it successfully submitted the lab assignments throughout the course. And the feedback, students' feedback was that they liked collaborative experience, and they found that their knowledge of cybersecurity increased significantly. In concerning the second research question, engagement with content and quizzes, so you can see recurrent difference in average grade on the questions number 3 and 4 that concerned the reading assignments between the control and the experimental group. For the group A in green, the line in green, you see that they had lower scores on the questions number 3 and 4 on the right that concern the readings, and the group B in purple, who got a hint to the readings, got the much higher scores only on these reading related questions, and again hints to the readings were given only to one group, but the reading was available to both group students in the weekly content. And the new groups were formed randomly every week so that not to discriminate the students. So we asked ourselves, was this hint really useful for the engagement of the students with the content, how to see it? We looked at the percentage of the students in each of the groups who were really reading this weekly reading, of how long. So you can see for how long that the students in the group B who received the hint to the reading were engaged with this reading content for much longer period of times in purple than the students of the group A who didn't receive a hint in green, but who still had their access to this reading content. But they didn't know in the assignment that they needed this reading content for this particular quiz. So discussing these results, we can say that the instructor was an industry expert, and he knew by practice what security architects prepared by the course, what qualities do they need and what the skills that they need in their practice work. So that's why the course was enriched with these activities, and collaborating with peers creates this conductive dynamic that is not often present in the online students' experience. Also, the availability of hints had positive effect on the students, encouraging them to access the assigned reading that they would not engage with otherwise. That's how we can say that the positive correlation between the test-based choice of the group members with the performance of the groups in labs was observed. And the future research that we recommend to do is to consider other factors than coding, maybe leadership skills and the interests and the background diversity into the formation of the groups. Also, backwards learning was observed as a strong determinant of online student behavior. And the question for the future research is how to use this known student behavior in order to help them to get better outcomes in online learning. And these are the conclusions that you all can see in the abstract for our paper published in the program of the conference, The Future of Education. And I would like to thank you for your attention to my presentation. See you soon again.